Well, what could a guy do who had no education? So I tried to be a prize fighter. I tried to be a ball player. I was a dancer. And how I got in pictures, I don't know.
How did you get in pictures?
They picked me up.
Who picked you up?
A fellow named Roland Brown.
Where were you? In Roseland Ballroom or one of those places?
No, I was, I had just come back from England, and I came to California because I had played here in vaudeville.
I see.
So I come out here, and I was sitting in the Brown Derby, which is right here on Vine Street.
Sure. Famous
and
place.
the fella came over to me and said, well, I'd like you to go into a motion picture for me.
Just like that, not knowing what you could do?
And I says, well, I've never been a motion picture actor. I said, as a dancer. He says, yes, I know. He said, will you come down to the studio tomorrow? I said, I'd be very happy to. So I went down.
What studio was that, George?
The William Fox studio on Western Avenue.
Uh-huh.
And there was a man by the name of Gardner who was the casting director. And this fellow, Roland Brown, was the director and the writer of the picture. Spencer Tracy was the star of the picture. So,
first picture. Spencer.
So the wind-up, he says, well, I know George Raft. He was a dancer. He was famous in New York, working in all the places that he worked in.
Who said that, Tracy?
No, Gardner.
Oh, Gardner.
So, but we got people on the lot that we have under contract that we much rather put in the picture. So they kept arguing back and forth, and I says, look, wait a minute. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go in, I'll do what you want me to do, and if my work is satisfactory, you make some arrangements to pay me. If it isn't satisfactory, you don't owe me anything. And I was the first one on the screen to say I had touched my handkerchief and my hat and said, this town isn't big enough for both of us. One of us has to leave.
You winged that line? You ad-libbed that line?
Yeah. So they called me.
Who were you saying it to at the time? Tracy, was it?
No, Leon Ames, who later did
the drunk act. He was the perennial drunk, wasn't he?
No, he was the guy that did some television.
Oh, Leon Ames was a Ford dealer here for a while,
That's
wasn't
right.
he?
And Bazooka Bob Burns.
For God.
And they all played gangsters. See, and I played Tracy's bodyguard in the picture.
You know who I was thinking of who played the perennial drunk? Leon Errol.
Leon Errol.
Remember how wonderful he was with those rubbery legs? But you actually said this town
isn't big enough for both of us.
And what did you do with your handkerchief?
I touched my handkerchief and touched my hat and left.
And that did it, a whole career from there.
And from there
do you remember what they paid you, George, for that first stint?
$150 a week.
That was a ton of money in those days, wasn't it?
No,
No? You had made more in vaudeville?
Oh, yeah. I made more as a dancer. I worked in 4 different places in a day.
Were you a self-taught dancer, or
Yes,
did people?
I watched them up in Harlem. I was never a good dancer.
Oh, no, wait a minute.
No, I was a stylist.
Well, that's better.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I first introduced the French tango in America.
Where did you learn it?
Just, I was in France when I was there, and I watched people dance, and I sort of introduced it, and I introduced a dance in the picture called Bolero.
Is that the picture where they wanted to, you were with Carol Lombard, and they wanted to kill you while you were dancing with her?
No, that was the other one, rumba. I did the rumba before it was popular. 10 years before, I didn't know what I was doing.
How did that happen?
I don't know. I just thought of the different things, that was all.
A rumba is just a takeoff on the two-step anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's...
what they call a lindy today.
We used to call it 1, 2, 3, 4, you know.
Yeah, sure.
And, of course, I was in Cuba, and watching the Cubans do, you know, rumba dancing, it's just sensational. You know, they don't move here, don't move there. It's just their backside.
The hip
they
yep, that dig you. Boy, it's nice.
And I learned how to dance up in Harlem, watching them dance.
You got one of those rumbas left in you like the Cubans? No.
I got emphysema.
I know. Tell the story about the little chorus girl who came to you and was out of money. And you were known for a guy who helped struggling actors. You had a lot of compassion and still have.
Well, I don't know. If somebody comes to you and needs help, you give it to them.
And she came to you and had no money, little chorus girl?
Yeah, and I helped her what they would, so it's all right.
What'd you give her, George?
$300.
You remember who she was?
No.
We know who it was, George.
Yeah?
You don't want to tell it. You're too much class, huh?
No.
Would it bother you if I told? You don't want to
Yeah.
tell her. Okay, I won't tell. Very important lady he helped. Did you date her too, George?
No.
You know,
She became very famous, didn't she?
Oh, and how? And how? The biggest name I know in television. You're quite a guy. You really are. Who's your